This is it. A shot. One final shot to make it happen. You'll be fighting some pro that doesn't have any consequence other than just proving your worth through them. By the way, fries sounds pretty good right now. One last chance to live the life I want. I quicken my pace, eager for the comfort of a dark room and a bright monitor. This can be applied to any nerd's life right there. Boom, boom, boom. There's the tower again. Unlike Tokyo Tower, it has never been destroyed by a giant octopus. This is the day that everything changed. Jizz. Maybe I should have went drinking afterwards, but screw it. It's a happy day. Bum 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 bum. That's it? Okay, we don't even get to see what happens in our match versus the sexy jet. Oh. Bum bum. Sorry. That was my scroll bar. Oh, do we actually? Okay, cool. True to her word, Jet sent me a reminder to get over to the Golden Zone Fire for some morning practice. I enjoyed playing online and all, but matching against someone only a few feet away is way more productive and fun. You get to trash talk in person. Talking over games in person, you see, exactly, makes it easier to get feedback. Oh no, it's easier to say your mother's a whore. Hold on. Okay, Google, how do you say your mother's a whore in Korean? There we go. Wii U? What the? Anyways, talking. The sting from my failure at the VSLL qualifier will take some time to fade. I don't want to experience the pain over again. I've been hurt before. Sorry. Same people here. I caught sight of Jet in the middle row. Her extension locked on a ladder game. Without disturbing her, I took a seat at the side and watched the match unfold. Sorry, tried to sing with the song. Firstly tapping and clicking, rattling her keyboard, focused never dropped from the game, much less her monitor. She's ahead, though not by much. It's not long until it extends her lead in the late game and, a few minutes later, heaves a sigh of relief when her opponent rage quits out. There's no need for me to consult my Korean skills to understand his final message. Okay, Google, what does ZERGIMBA mean in Korean? Nerfed. Oh, he's saying to nerf the Zerg. Exactly, my words too. The Zerg rushes too much. Yeah. Nerf the Zerg. You actually showed. Color me surprised. I'll call you many things if you let me. I mean, the brushes feel nice in certain places. How could I not? The better question is how you have free time to practice with such an amateur. Anyways, you're here, so let's stop wasting time. You paid for a PC, right? I nod and log myself into the station next to her. A minute later, the two of us are grinding out practice matches. Game after game is a beatdown because they need to impa Zerg. Zerg impa. Anyways, I can't crack her defense when I attack, and I'm barely holding on to she goes on the defensive. She's just as unforgiving in pointing out my mistakes as she is in game. Your wall at the ramp of the natural to your natural is trash. Oh, I see. Yes. How the hell do you get away with this? You're asking to get busted. It's not something I really think about that much. I just throw them up, you know? Fix it or be punished. Sorry, wrong button. Return. That's probably isn't an idle threat. Jet is a type of player capable of ending the game instantly if she can capitalize on the right kind of mistake. Excuse me, let me adjust my chair. Her style has been characterized as both passive and reactive. She takes her time and watches her opponent, patient for the right moment to strike! Heart attack, sorry. She only takes a risk if it's calculated in her favor. Given her that's the whiskey, success, the style has suited her well, though I can't help but wonder why she hasn't lately been performing at her previous level. Maybe she's lost her killer instinct. You know, that game, I guess, it was a nice game for the N64, had the cute bunny girls and stuff. Wait a minute, am I thinking of the wrong fighting game? Whatever. Pink goo everywhere. I mean green goo. Guess not. A reminder of her skills difference between us rushes up as a map natural expansion. Promise. In the aftermath of destruction, she swarms my base and seizes an easy win. Jet riles in her victory with a predatorial smile. Wrecked, bitch. Before we get into the next game, I catch sight of a familiar face coming into the cafe. Huh, isn't that the same guy from before? Funny, it's like they only animated important people. Hey Jet, do you know who that is? I thumb the stranger in direction as he passed by us. He is attention occupied by cell phone and screen. Jet trails and looks after, wrinkles his nose and shrugs. He's a KPGA player, Protoss. What about him? Come on, get into the game already. Seriously, he went all out attack yesterday. What is he doing outside of his team's house for 2 days in a row? They've only figuratively chained to the desk. I can read, despite the evidence of the last hour of this gameplay. Not all of them are shut-ins. Stop wasting your time. Let's go. Come on, gotta kick your ass. I double take away from Jet to find the player in question seated a few rows in front of us. And he's got StarCraft 2 client open. Why would a KBGA player spend his time practicing on anything but Brood War? Should I ask him for a game? I think I'm going to ask him for a game. What? No, hold on, wait, you can't just... I leave the whore in the background and raise and shuffle my way past the Rose computer. Jet shoots me with a wrinkling glare over the top of her station before ducking back down. Even though I've barely interacted with this guy, I can't help but feel a little anxious as I edge close to his computer. Sure, he was a bit rude when he spoke, but the chance to challenge a pro is too good to pass up, especially if I try to step up my game. Excuse me. He subtly alt-tabs and then turns to regale me with half-lidded eyes. What? Wait, he had a deep voice, didn't he? Excuse me, would you mind a practice game? No, I'm just here to... He passes right nice across his face. You're the chick from the all-out attack yesterday, aren't you? For a moment, he looks ready to dismiss me and gets the laddering, but at the last second, he nods. Alright, one game. If I win! That's good. With a final nod, I return to my station. A moment later, he and I share a game lobby and begin the game. He's playing on a barcode account. Typical. How have I still not managed to catch this guy's name? A sharp tap against my headphones announced Jet's return and displeasure. You're obnoxious. You're a filthy American. I already asked Google how to say that. If you lose and embarrass me by association, I'm going to pretend I don't know you. Anything else Jet has to say is drowned out along with the sound of the golden zone fire when I pull the AirPads back on. He plays Protoss. That's all you know about him. That and he has weird pink hair. Okay. If the idea behind practicing against a good player is to improve, I should probably play standard. Still, the temptation to an all-in is always there. How sick would it be to grab a quick win against a player? I don't know. Play the standard game. If you do an early attack, probably foolish. Why do I have a spinning peach ball of death? Did my game freeze? Okay, Google. How do you say spinning beach ball of death in Korean? There we go. It's probably best that I follow Jet's advice. I opt for a standard micro game management. This guy built permitting. I take my natural expansion and begin trekking up. The match progresses quietly with only a few brief skirmishes with his stalkers and my marines. Excuse me. I start constructing my starport and researching my bio upgrades. I'm surprised to find that they finished without any pressure coming from the Protoss army. Well, Protoss... Usually with Protoss, I used to play air attack with that one. Anyways, this could be a good time for some good drop play and try to snipe from critical tech buildings. If I were to play aggressive drop style, I need to be confident in my control and in the fact that I can outplay him. On the other hand, do I have to make another choice again? Damn it, I don't know what choices. This game has been expediently quiet. If I could just go up another expansion, I could have a serious economic lead in the game. Yeah, get aggressive with dropships. Dropships play is definitely characteristic of a top turn player. If I win this, it's a good indication that I can stand toe to toe with players of Korea. It's time to put my practice to work. I grab enough units for attack and finishes. It's imperative he doesn't see me move out, so I make sure that the watchtowers are clear to avoid places. Yes, you don't want to be seen. When my dropships are in the clear, I fly straight into his base. He's unprepared for the attack, and I unload all my units and rush to snipe some important tech buildings. Again, hold on, Google, how do you say that again? With the damage to his infrastructure drone, my units retreat for safety of my dropship. That set him back a ton. The game is going incredibly well, so I decided to pull back on my aggression and build an army for a final push. He's been too busy defending to get a decent standing army, and when I roll up with my amassed units, he kites back, bobbing and weaving away from my forces while delivering pot shots. I give chase, the taste of victory, tantalizingly close. I manage to corner his army, leaving him with nowhere to run. But just as I move in to deliver the final blow, someone shoots me in the chest. The end. He flanks me with half a dozen Templars, showing me my army. Half damage storms. I pull back frantically, but my army is left in tatters. I tried my hardest to gather enough units to mount a second offensive, but he continues to crush my attacks with only a handful of well-upgraded, well-macroed zealots, stalkers and acolytes. How the hell did this happen? My lead is gone. Frustrated, I box all my workers and change towards his base. I roll through his fourth base uncontested. Yep, he's giving up the ground because he knows he can't face me. Don't be, anyways, embroiled. I drive up a ramp into another trap. Yeah, I saw that coming and I don't know how to play. And find myself within the face of an ambush. My front line evaporates before I can issue the command to retreat, and he crushes what remains of my army a few moments later. I can't believe I lost. That's the end of the game. I stare blankly at the screen for almost 10 seconds before I finally type GG and quit out of the match. Again, you never quit. You make them beat you. Neskin. I don't have long to sulk in defeat before the player makes his way over to me with a smirk. As promised, Jet is nowhere to be seen. You actually know how to play. Wasn't expecting that. I'll have to try. It's a compliment regardless of how he said it, though it's difficult to be graceful in defeat. I try my best. Okay, Google, how do you say your mother was a whore? In Korean. I forgot to say in Korean. I played my game the best I could, kept vision on you, dropped when I could, but it wasn't enough. Sucks. It's one thing to lose carelessly, but it's another when everything goes as planned and you fail anyways. Okay, Google, how do you say go fuck yourself in Korean?
Here's your translation.
Oh, you're not going to tell me?
별표 자신을 F로 idong.
There you go. He grins, darkens to one without humor. Is this guy serious? What the hell is your problem, you prick? You demanded a game and whined when you get a little pushback? Look who's talking. Everyone knows your type. A foreigner out to make a name for herself. You fly out here on a whim and waste 6 weeks training. You aren't the first, unfortunate, who won't be the last. Unfortunately, you won't be the last. Your plane ticket doesn't buy you the right to call yourself a pro gamer. Save yourself the money and your time and go back home. How do you say I hope the North kills you first? In Korean.
나는 북한이 먼저 사망 희망.
I feel the heart rise in my face, half in anger and half in embarrassment. I've never dealt with this confrontation. But before I can say anything else, Jet steps out from around the corner and cuts between the two of us. Still great at making friends, huh, Bolt? He glances between the two of us, surprised. After a moment pause, the so-called Bolt seizes his smirk back and meets Jet with a step forward. Been a while, hasn't it? What a surprise, Star League champion doing it with trash like this. Bolt looks past her and tilts his head towards me. I take a step back and punch him in the fucking nuts. But an open palm from Jet stops me going any further. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised. Jumping ship to a scene bloated with foreigners, money has its upside, but it won't be long before you forget the dignity of pro players. Okay, Google. How do you say your mother lost her dignity when I gave her $50 last night behind the alley in Korean?
나는 골목 뒤에 지난 밤에 그녀의 $50를 주었을 때 당신의 어머니는 그녀의 존엄성을 상실.
Okay, that one was quite long. The dignity of a pro gamer, huh? You make it sound so distinguished. You've changed for the worse, and you don't even realize it. How sad. Shouldn't be much longer until the KBGA finally accepts that there's no future in a brood war. You're smart enough to know what happens then, but hey, the scene could always use a bit more casters. You know, one thing about all of this, it won't matter in a little bit. The game will pass, you'll make a little bit, you'll be a little bit famous. We all have to move on and actually get on with our life, so let me just ask Google one more thing. Okay, Google, again, how do you say go fuck yourself in Korean? Oh, I said again to begin with, though, it didn't tell me. Whatever you say, for the record, what excuse did you give your coach for another day off? VIP's a little more lax than Shock TI, but I might want to borrow it someday. And Bolt growls. Jet doesn't waste an opening and strikes again. Don't worry, Donggunse. Your secret's safe with me. Run along now. I'm sure you got coins to flip or something. The standoff lasts a moment longer before Bolt lets out a lazily shrug, instantly killing off the intensity in his expression. I've got better things to do than offer advice to a monthly chobo. Do what you want. Okay, Google, what does chobo mean? Not hobo. Chobo. Whatever, fuck it. He thumbs his nose at me and returns to his station without another word. I stab a bitch, and then he dies. The end. As soon as Bolt's out of sight, Jet takes my arm in a vice and practically drags me away. You had the game won. What the hell was that? The SCV pull at the 15 minutes? Is that what they teach you at the NA servers? Even after a heated confrontation, her concern with the match before anything else, I almost laughed. My drops crippled him. I thought that would be enough to end the game. So build units for 2 minutes and then go roll on him. Don't be so impatient. Your upgrades were late too. Her critique diffused the tensions for moments prior, even if it doesn't exactly make me feel any better. There's the PC. Come on, queue up. Game against me.